All right, and we are back. Chi-Town Lowdown. We are recapping the Week 15 shit pumping that was the game against the Vikings. Kind of just going off the cuff here. I mean, obviously it was less than a great game for the Bears. Few positives. We did have positive yards on offense in the first half. The stat line where we were comparing our total yardage to the other opposing team's number of first downs was not brought up, which was great. There's a lot of bad things in the broadcast, such as Troy Aikman singling out all the guys that Caleb was missing, I think coming off of half or maybe right before half. But, again, it was a bit of an all over the place game. I don't think we had the highest of expectations there. But, Jesse, you picked the Bears, didn't you, for the picks?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Tell us how you're feeling.
Well, my thought behind that was this team over the last few years has been a roller coaster ride of emotion, as well as the product that you see on the field. So I was under the impression after the shit stomping we received in San Francisco that we probably would have seen what looked like a decent football team. I was wrong. We were still on the descent of the roller coaster ride, which tells me that this week, maybe we're on our way back up, right? So I'll probably be picking the Bears against spread here against the Lions.
Detroit's defense is battered right now, so I don't know, man.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But team in Detroit is battered for sure. They're losing guys left and right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just eight straight games we've lost now after the Hail Mary in Washington. It's just tough to continue to do these Bears segments, frankly, because of the hope that we all had coming into this season after the first 6 games being 4-2, seeing some promise from both sides of the ball, some development for our rookie quarterback, and then, since then to just see everything spiral out of control. And to see some glimmers of hope in those first 3 divisional matchups, losing those games collectively by 7 points. I mean, those other 3 teams in our division are good football teams that are all going to make the playoffs. And to play those games as tightly as we did, it has to say something about this football team. And what I think that is saying is that this team has greatly underperformed what their expectations are. I mean, if you look at the preseason win over under for this team, I think it was at 8.5, 7.5, some around there.
Pretty favorable odds, like -130, -140, I want to say.
Right. So, we're obviously not going to reach 8. We might reach 7 if we win these next 3 games, but that's very unlikely. So just really tough. Sitting at 4-10 here. I guess trying to look at the bright side. Don't know. Caleb's regressing. The defense.
The bright side, can't even come up with one thing to say.
Yeah. The defense is not playing well. It seems like the locker room is fractured. There's no clear leadership. The ownership is in the box looking perplexed.
Yeah.
And now to even exacerbate it, I'm starting to see things on social media. It's like, is there anything worse than being a Bears fan? And then it's like being friends with someone who is a Bears fan, because all they talk about is how their life is hell because they cheer for the Bears. So now we are the butt of social media's jokes for the time being, because our team has put us in this position where we feel we need to express our feelings about what this organization is doing to us, and other people are just like, we don't care, shut the hell up.
So that part right there, it's interesting because like, does that make like the us three and then Tom when he is here, worse than the worst? Because not only do we do that, we put out a recording of it on a weekly basis, which takes it one step further. The self-loathing is on another level. We suck, right? Let's just put it out there. We're not good. At every level of the organization.
Yeah.
I saw some report today saying that I think it was a guy, sports radio guy from Chicago, talking about how the only way this is going to be fixed is if the ownership hires someone that, because realistically, ownership is not going to change hands until something drastic happens, right? Somebody dies, or major financial issues for the family as a whole. So the idea of an ownership change is kind of like there's no end in sight there. But as for all the other components that are subject to change, because like that's just something you're going to see when the organization can't put a product out on the field that can win. They're going to have to hire somebody that it's basically like what Wargo's doing with his picks. Go with the opposite of whatever you think is best, right? At this point, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? So let's try something different. Like, like when the president of the organization is telling you that he doesn't think Harbaugh is a good fit, maybe that's because there's some sort of ulterior motive going on. And that guy shouldn't be fucking trusted, and he should be fucking put out on the street with every other person that's currently leading this organization, whether that be Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles. Obviously we've seen what happened to Eberflus. He's gone. Getsy, fucking Waldron. It's just like they cannot find the right people. They can't do it. And
No.
one of the sadder things that I heard said this week was that the defense has gotten worse without Eberflus. Eberflus was actually a good influence on this team. I'm so happy he's gone, but that is the state that we are currently in. This guy who couldn't figure out how to use a timeout was actually helping the team. The defense has fallen apart in the last couple of weeks. I mean, they are getting run through like butter against a warm knife. Like it is just, they can't stop anything. And it is pathetic. The offense is obviously terrible. There's no either side of the line of scrimmage has lost the ability to make any sort of impact in the game. Obviously, we saw what happened. Amagaji, Ryan Poles, third round brainchild. Like he thinks he's going to be diamond in the rough. There were other guys there, more proven products at a college level that projected to be better in the NFL, and he wanted to take some guy up from Yale that nobody was even expecting to go in the first 4 or 5 rounds in the third round. Like, it's just hard right now. Like Jesse said, it's hard to, like, I look more forward to picking the games, reviewing the slate as a whole, as opposed to talking about this sorry ass team. Borgo said it before we started, or maybe he said it at the beginning. At this point, lose out, please. Like that's the only way that we can really salvage this situation is to improve our odds at getting a better player in the draft for next year. And I mean, I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they will screw that up too and end up winning these games somehow or another, and hurting themselves in the long run. But I don't know. It's depressing right now. I'm just ready for, per usual, the off season and for the the hope of a new year, because that's all we really have with this team.
Morgo?
Yeah, no, well said. How many points do you think we're getting against those Detroit Lions this week?
Well, I already looked at it.
Yep, 6.5.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to me. Yeah, I don't know. I think Jason Kelsey might have said it best, through the remainder of the season here, through the second half of that last week's football game. It's kind of just proving that we're relevant in terms of the NFL. So we've got 4 wins, which is more than some franchises, less than a lot of franchises. But we just look so bad, so awful right now. I think I heard the question posed on one of the channels that I follow where they were looking at the Bears wins that they currently have. If this team that we have right now were to play any of the 4 teams that we previously beat, what would our record be? And I feel like we'd probably lose at least 3 out of those 4 games that we previously won. Just nothing's going our way. Caleb's not accurate with the football. Everything that was been sold to us, or everything that we were sold about Caleb, was that he was an accurate passer, incredible arm talent, all these things. When he does hit the guy in the chest, he freaking drops the ball. Keenan Allen with 4 drops. Roma Dunze, when we score a touchdown, fullback doesn't report. It's tough. I mean, it's tough. We're not a good team. None of the calls go our way. None of the plays go our way. The ball never rolls our way. And it shouldn't, because I guess as kind of a flow over here, a competent organization does all the small things right. I feel like that's maybe where Harbaugh is like, if you're late, you get fined. If you're, not doing something the correct way, you get fined. Like, that's just what it is. Letter of the law. Doing all the small things right, checking all the boxes. And I guess you don't really expect the ball to roll your way when you're not doing any of the small things right. So when you're looking to build an organization, make a run at the playoffs, you have a young quarterback, maybe start with the offensive line. Maybe let's not try and get exotic with, 0 coverage or 0 backfield, 4 route or 4 slant, 4 verts. We're not good enough for that. We're not a good football team. The pitch play on 4th and 1, we're not a good football team to move bodies on the offensive line. So that play was, ruined from the start. We can't play in that Kyle Shanahan offense, that run and gun where they make the offensive line less of a factor. We can't do it. We've shown that we can't do it. And now we're trying to blend something together, and it just looks like hell. I mean, like I said, we did have positive yards of offense in the first half of the game. It was still a tough watch, but for some reason it didn't feel quite as bad as some of those games where we have 4 yards of offense going into the half. But it's a god-awful product that we have to support week after week. So looking forward to this week's game against Detroit in Motor City, getting 6.5, like we said. Probably going to be on the Bears this week. So let's go. All aboard.
The Bears in Detroit a few weeks ago, they were -9.5. So if you flip the 3 points, since the Bears are going to be at home this week, Vegas doesn't think anything has changed.
My bad. I thought this game was in Detroit. That's my mistake.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, we got a different head coach, one. And since that Detroit game, I think, we're being outscored like 68-22 in those 2 games or something, right? So I don't know. Seems a little generous to the Bears to me, but I don't make the lines.
I'm good. I'm good on the Bears. Picking the Bears the rest of the year. I'm good on that. I'll be taking Detroit this week, Seattle the next week, and
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Like I said at the beginning, it's a roller coaster. This could be a week where they're like, "Oh, we are a good football team."
What's the catalyst for that? What's the catalyst for that thought? Because we didn't get the head coach bump, we didn't get any of the other stuff. Like I said, the ball does not roll our way. So,
that's
is it just
thing.
delusion?
It's chaos theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Murphy's Law?
It's been like that before Caleb was here. Since we got rid of Nagy, I mean, it's kind of how it's been. A couple of things I wanted to touch on that both of you guys had touched on a little bit. Head coaching rumors. I've seen a lot of stuff this week about Vrabel, and if Vrabel, then Josh McDaniels at OC.
Mike or Josh.
Josh, the guy who was with Tom Brady for 10 years in New England.
Fuck no. Well, my brain couldn't even register who he was. No, absolutely not.
Why do you say that?
That guy's a human turd. That's why he got run out of
Denver.
of Vegas before the Denver thing. Like he was going to go to Vegas. That fell through, or did he? Had a stint there. That blew up in his face. Had to home develop in New England.
He's not a head coach. He's an offensive coordinator.
Oh, he's locker room cancer. No one likes him. That's why those teams quit on him. That's why he had to leave. I don't want a coach. I don't care if he's a head coach. I don't want anyone who's a detriment to this team any longer.
He's been on teams that have won Super Bowl.
Stevenson's gone.
Yeah. I don't give a shit. He can go too.
I mean, I'm kind of on the opposite side of Luke. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that you need that. What we've been saying is that we need somebody who's been in this league before and who's had success. That's what he has had. And Caleb's a big fan of Tom Brady, a big fan of his success and his ability to win in the league for a long time. And you can probably attribute some of that to Josh McDaniels' offense that he implemented in New England. So that kind of resonated with me a little bit. That I saw that in the media a little bit this week. Orgo, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if we have success, then we have to find a new OC 3 years later.
That's been the pattern, but hopefully, we're looking to break that.
I mean, if you can hitch your wagon to the Vrabel train, and if we do have success to the point where an offensive coordinator is leaving, then I mean that role might be an appealing one to fill for an up and comer. But we're not really doing the best in terms of our batting average with offensive coordinators, like you said. Matt Nagy is really the last one that did anything.
But it comes back to his track record in the league as an offensive coordinator. Like, this is a guy that has been he has been in the league for a long time. He's not anymore. But he had a lot of success.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he made a shitload of money. He's probably on the beach in Bermuda or something. But
yeah, I don't give a shit. I just don't like it. And honestly, I don't think you could say a single name right now that would put me in any good feelings. Even Ben Johnson, like the premier names that are available. Vrabel, if Ditka was coming back, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm just in a bad place right now with the Bears, and
yeah, that's fair.
I'm past the point of trying to pretend that I see a light at the end of the tunnel. They're gonna have to show me. I'm taking years off of my life expectancy, so I sit here and watch these game recaps, and it's painful. It's painful.
Last thing, coming back to the draft. So right now we're sitting in the 9 spot. We also have the most difficult remaining strength of schedule, tied with the New England Patriots, who have the 3 pick right now. So, we have 4 wins. The teams that have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they all have less than that. The number 1 and 2 picks have 2 wins. So, probably not going to usurp them. But, I mean, there's a chance we fall a little bit further here in these next few weeks with the schedule that we have. So we're talking potentially already top 10. We're talking potentially top 5. We would have to climb our way ahead of the likes of Tennessee to do that.
They bench Levis, so there's a chance they could start playing better.
The Jags have the 30th remaining strength of schedule. The Titans have the 22nd. The Browns are ahead of us. They have the 18th. And then the Jets, they could – Aaron Rodgers could be like, we're winning out for no reason and ruin their chance to get a good draft pick because he's a dick.
Yeah.
His comments on the Pat McAfee show about people that got the vaccine, did you guys see that?
I saw him on there recently. He was all smiles, somebody said, but I didn't actually watch it personally.
Yeah, I forget what he said. It was like you guys can say whatever you want about me, but just before you do, go ahead and tell everybody what's your vax status, and I'll just leave that there. He said something like that. It's like, what was that? What does that mean?
So he's
And then he went
insinuating
on,
that only anti-vaxxers talk shit about him?
I think he was insinuating that everybody who got the COVID vaccine is somehow being brain controlled by the government and this conspiracy psyop.
Okay.
He's gone off the deep end.
Built into the CIA psyop is a pro Aaron Rodgers, anti Aaron Rodgers. If it's leaning into the propaganda, then it's against him because he's above that. He's incredible, honestly. It's an enigma. Approaching the point where he's like that person that is so delusional that it's like everything is veiled in some other layer of something else, and it's like you end up, people like us end up having discussions trying to figure out who he's trying to insult, and it's like I mean, I guess in this case it's pretty clear. Aaron Rodgers didn't get the vaccine, and he thinks people who did are lesser, but we don't make judgments like that on the Chi-Town Lowdown podcast. So thank you for joining us. We've gone completely off the rails here. Stick around if you're interested for week 16 picks and spread, some bonus picks, Christmas Day games, and the game on the 26th between yours truly, Chicago Bears, and the Seattle Seahawks.
Boxing Day.
Thank you for joining. Be sure to like and subscribe. Go to the X page, follow there, drop a comment, insult us, as we always say. Bear down.
I said go Bears.